A lot of the times I'll look at different techniques in different cultures and see what they've done and take bits and pieces from different cultures, different ideas, and try to incorporate my own sort of twist on it. For the most part with 3D work, you might do a sketch, but it's really just an idea, because what you end up making is completely different. So it will consist of me just getting a ball of clay. I won't even bother weighing it out most of the time, and I'll just get myself on the wheel, start making and see what happens. And then naturally my hands will sort of guide the form, and then I purposely try to make it look different. Doing batch work is especially hard when you need to make multiple things that look the same but still have sort of a crafty twist on it, because at the end of the day what you don't want is people looking at your work and thinking, oh, that looks like something I could get in IKEA. It looks so factory made that I kind of want that handcrafted feel to it. It's great fun, you never know what's going to happen. It's really rewarding, and at the end of it, when you open the kiln, it's always a bit of anxiety inducing, but that's what sort of keeps me coming back, I suppose, is that constant loop of pairing, making, firing, fingers crossed, it all comes out fine. It's quite funny really when you see that people will come to you and they say to you, oh, I'm not creative, I can't do this, I've just not got it in me, I have never been arty, and I get this a lot, and then by the end of an hour they've then made something that they thought they would never be able to make. They're proud of it, they're happy, and they realise that as long as they just sort of let go of fears, that they end up really sort of being proud of themselves, and it's quite rewarding. With sculptures, I need to be in a very particular mindset. I typically start a sculpture if I'm feeling a certain emotion. So for example, my latest sculpture's a face. It was almost like a nautical sort of face of a tribal looking woman with half of her face sort of growing like a fungal organism, and the other half being sort of pretty. The one I made previously before that, I called it the Aftermath, but that was a set of sculptures. It was 4 sculptures which were on stilts, and it was called the Aftermath because it was actually based off the Hiroshima bombing. What I found out after the bombing was the only things that survived were actually the pots, the thrown pots, and so all the rubble sort of stuck to the pot, and when it stuck to the pot, after it cooled down, there was this beautiful sort of pot which was half perfect, as you will, and then the other half had rubble on it, and it looked really malformed and like it had been through a war, literally. All of my sculptures tend to be pretty things that have gone ugly or have a sort of a dark sort of past to it, and so anything that I make has to be inspired by something that's negative, either to spread awareness of it or to visualise how it'd be, so I can get it out of my head and into the world and think, oh, I've taken this beautiful thing and I've destroyed it like this. And that's always been therapeutic. It really just takes this beautiful form and gives it this weird twist on it that I personally find is quite sort of evocative and a bit strange, but from what I'm looking at, from what I'm inspired by, I think it's quite important, because I think to make things that are pretty all the time is almost a bit fake. It's brilliant to just be able to just work with the clay and not really be sort of cornered in by any boundaries or anything like that. But at the end of the day, we're all making something because we feel the need to make something, because it either makes us happy or it makes other people happy when they look at your work. When I was at uni doing ceramics, my teachers would tell me that, oh, ceramic is a bit of a dying craft. Are you sure that's the right thing you want to go into? And that statement always sort of bothered me a little bit, because no one did anything about it. It's like, yeah, it's dying, but what we're going to do about it doesn't have to be. And I think at the end of the day, if we're not making to sell, that's absolutely fine, we don't need to sell. But if we're making to have fun and we're making to sort of just be happy, then that's what it's all about.